Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Random Chatter Reviews. This is Sunday, November 14th, 2021. I am joined tonight by Tim and Eric. Tim, how are you?
I am doing well. Thrilled to be here. Happy to be alive. Life is good.
Hey, it's the holiday season. What's not to like, right?
This is true.
Snow is soon to be here.
Soon. We've had some in the sky here. Nothing has stuck yet, but just barely north of us, we've got some on the ground. So, oh yeah, it's coming.
Very good. Winter is coming.
Christmas time is here. Time for
God.
Joy.
Don't get us kicked off YouTube.
Eric.
Hi. Yeah. No, I'm doing great. I'm also happy that Tim is alive.
Thank you.
And
it's good to hear.
Just trying to be agreeable. And there will not be snow here anytime soon.
Yeah, I got a bit to wait too, but
you're going to get it before I do.
Tim will be there before we will. It's true.
All right.
Well, so we got some good stuff that was released this past week.
It's been a big week.
A lot of new releases. So let's just jump in with our joint picks here. What do you guys want to start with for the new stuff? What was your? We'll throw it to Eric first. Eric, what was your favorite of the new releases that we saw this week?
I saw a lot of new stuff this week. I'm going to say I don't know that this is my favorite. I'm going to say the one that surprised me the most was Shang-Chi.
Okay.
So this,
really?
This just came out on Disney Plus.
How that surprised you?
On Friday.
Yep.
Of course, it's been in theaters for a while, and you could pay to get it on Disney Plus, but now it's free to everybody. And honestly,
no, you could not pay to get it on Disney.
No,
Plus.
I didn't think it was an option to pay for this one, right? It was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. My bad. Nope.
It was theater only.
Theater only. And I wasn't going to, with COVID, I wasn't going to go to the theaters for this. And I think if we could have paid for it early, again, and I'm single, so it's $30 per ticket instead of it's not like I've got a family of 5 to, justify a $30 purchase for it. I was going to wait. Just wasn't that interested.
Okay.
Didn't know anything about the character. The trailers looked good, but I grew up with Captain America. I grew up with the X-Men. I grew up, well, not really so much with Iron Man, but yeah, the Avengers in general, So for me, yeah, I'm definitely going to see those. The Eternals, Shang-Chi, I don't have any connection with them. And I watched this movie.
Understandable.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people kind of felt that way. This movie was really freaking good. I dare say it is not my favorite Marvel movie, but it's up closer to the top. I'd have to sit down and figure it out, but it's in the top 10%.
Really? Okay. I mean, there's been a lot of talk online about this being, the best Marvel movie so far, and
it's not the best.
I'm kind of. Yeah, and I'm in the same boat you are, Eric, because I didn't grow up with it. And these are characters that I've got to be sold on. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with them. So to me, I've got faith in Marvel because of what they've given us already. So I have faith they're going to give us some good stuff going forward. And I'm on board. Yeah. But would I have paid the extra money for seeing it at home early? I don't know. $30 is a bit much. I don't know if I would have done that without knowing. But like you, I thought it was a great movie. I don't think it was in my top 10%, but, it was definitely a worthwhile movie.
I say, so there's a difference between a favorite movie and a movie that you would critically respect. Like there are movies that I think are just perfection as far as the workmanship, the craftsmanship of the film. Not my favorite movie. And then there are some of my favorite movies that aren't great movies. They're favorites for me because they're just fun. I think that this is one of the best made Marvel films. And while it's not my favorite, it still also is, again, much closer to the top than it is the bottom. I think that this is a very underrated Marvel film. I think the writing is great. There's so much more story behind the characters than I expected. And I think that the world building was really good. I think the relevance to the Marvel universe, which is something that everybody was very dismissive of, I think it's light, but it's more than I think people realized. And in part, I think people didn't realize how many times the Ten Rings have appeared in other MCU films and shows and such. I think this was a hit. This was really good. And I was shocked. I was not expecting it. Big surprise for me.
So, Tim, as our host of the top-rated Marvel MCU show on the network, what did you think of it?
I thought it was great. I was really impressed with it. Overall, I loved the story.
Yeah.
The storytelling itself was absolutely fantastic. I loved how they brought the Asian, the Chinese elements into it. That it wasn't, we didn't get the cliche stuff. We got, like, it felt like it had a lot of authenticity to it. It was done exceptionally well with that. I like how they kind of told the story of the rings, from the past coming up to the present. That said, the early part of the movie was a little slow, but it found its legs pretty soon, and it moved along. It all worked within the MCU, and then the mid-credit scene was fantastic. Not going to spoil it for anybody, but what they did was they pulled together a mid-credit scene that we haven't seen before. Usually, you get your mid-credit scene, which is very MCU. Like, hey, here's stuff that's going on, and then the end credit scene is much more lighthearted. This did both, and it was all they had. There was no end credit scene. It was a mid credit scene that did both things, and it was fantastic.
There was an end credit scene.
There was an end credit scene. Did you not watch all the way to the end, Tim?
There was an end credit scene.
There was an end credit scene, yeah.
Oh yes, oh gosh, you're right. Yes, there was.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I did see the end credit scene.
We were a little worried.
That like
Queen of something.
Right.
Yeah.
It was right over my head. It was because the mid-credit scene stood out to me so much, because it did have that balance of moving a story forward and having the really big comedic element to it. But yes, I'm sorry, there is an end credit scene. Yeah, great movie. I liked it. I loved the acting in it was great. I love Awkwafina. She is just so damn funny, and she nailed it in this movie.
I was a little worried about her in this role because I didn't know how her comedy was going to fit into an MCU movie. But I thought it worked really well. I don't like it
when she's over the top, but she can do like mid-range comedy really well, and she can actually also do drama. There's a movie coming out with Mahershala Ali. She's in from the trailer. She can do just straight drama too. But when she gets like goofy over the top with her comedy, I don't click with it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was worried about for this, but I thought she played this really well.
The casting was phenomenal. Simu nailed it as the main character. It was just incredible. And Michelle Yeoh, and they did such a good job with the casting.
Michelle Yeoh she's a fantastic actress. I love
her do Tai Chi for hours. Like, there's just something about I don't know.
I mean, and again, her paired with Awkwafina when they did Crazy Rich Asians.
I still have to watch that.
Was just my gosh,
watch that now.
Incredible movie.
Bumped it up
amazing
on my list.
movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
And then Michelle Yeoh in this movie, I love that, when she's like doing the instructing on how to fight, and her and Shang-Chi are sparring, and they get into these moments, and they you have move, counter move, whatever, and she just gets this slight little smirk on her face, and it is just it's a fantastic thing, because they hit her face just right at the right angle. She gets this little smirk, like, okay, you did all right, but I got you, and I'm going to beat your ass. It's just so good,
and she will too, because she's Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
So before we get off this movie, I one thing I wasn't that thrilled with was the actual end battle.
Okay.
I didn't care for the
supernatural side of it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're good for. Yeah, it just felt a little.
It's
bit
actual
weird
Marvel
to me.
lore. Like it fits. It's legitimate.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I was down with it. I enjoyed it. Yeah. It was a little unexpected for me, but I liked where they went with it.
And the other thing I was a little bit kind of thought the writing was poor in the fact of here you got the the father, and I'm not giving anything away here, but the father who is doing things based on his feelings and nothing more. And you're like, dude, you're being misled. It's like we've seen this before, time after time, in many other proproperties. It's like it seemed like a very played out.
He's
thing
never
of why
seen
he
those
was doing
movies,
what he's
Lou.
doing.
Dude,
he's been around
here's
for a
the
long
thing,
time. He's an
though.
old guy.
Like, that happens in real life all the time. I was just having a conversation with someone the other day where I'm like, they came to me with some relationship problems they're going through, and I'm like, okay, let me tell you a story about me and my experience. And I told them a story, and I said, now, what would you do in this experience? And they said, oh, I get the hell out. I do this, and that. I said, okay. So I just lied, and none of that was my story, and I just recounted your own story back to you. And they're like, oh,
that's
well,
fantastic.
yeah, but it's different. I'm like, no, it's literally not different. I changed the names of the locations.
Yeah.
So people do this all the time, Lou. They make emotional decisions,
you're so
and then
close
they
to the
get into
problem.
a feedback loop where they have to double down.
Yep.
It's different when you're on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right.
You are right. It's done
those
constantly.
things do happen.
It's an old trope, but it's still like it happens in everyday life.
But that's
too.
the only thing I could fault it for.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I thought I really enjoyed everything. The world building, and this again is the first. We're on the first floor of this next skyscraper that Marvel's building, and we're just moving our way up. So I'm all in now. This is good stuff.
So I actually want this character back. I want these characters back now. And I kind of thought, okay, well, this is going to be another one of those like throwaway side dish things that we'll get a little bit, but it's not going to be like the big the Thanos and blah blah blah. And no, like I want this to be like an A-list part of the franchise now. I'm all in. And by the way,
I think he's all in too. Yeah.
Marvel Assembled. We could tie this into Star Wars too, because Simu, and I forget his last name, played on Kim's Convenience, and the father on Kim's Convenience plays in The Mandalorian as one of the New Republic Rangers.
Yep.
Okay.
X-wing pilots.
One of the X-wing pilots. Yeah.
Just saying. Anyhow.
Oh, cool.
I think that this was the best Marvel Assembled episode.
I have yet to watch it.
I think it's the best one.
I have yet to watch it, but
okay, cool.
I think the behind the scenes footage was informative. It showed you how they did things that you might not have known how they did. It got into the personality of the actors, and again, the cast, amazing. And like really what they were feeling and what they were going through, what it was like for them to, like, as people, to be there working on, a Marvel movie. I think that hands down, this is the best Marvel Assembled episode.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
That's cool. Encouraging. And I've been really thoroughly enjoying them so far. I love behind the scenes stuff.
Me too.
And they've all been great. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Okay. So the other kind of new release for this weekend was the much anticipated Ryan Reynolds movie coming out, which is Red Notice. This is a Netflix property.
Their biggest opener ever.
Was it?
Oh, really? I didn't hear that. Nice.
Yeah. Netflix's largest opener ever.
Okay.
So I guess there's going to be a sequel. I guess it's already filming.
Dwayne Johnson and Gal Gadot in the 3 title roles of this movie. And so I went into this as, typical Ryan Reynolds movie, just looking for fun, not looking for intricate story, not looking for twists, not looking, I just wanted to have fun. And I think I had that, but then at the end I'm like, oh, okay. There was a lot more to this than meets the eye. So it was pretty good. I mean, I wasn't looking for things to figure out, so I wasn't trying to, but I enjoyed the end of this movie.
It was good. It was a lot of fun.
I did not predict the end. I did pick up on some things along the way that kind of made me suspicious, and I was starting to move in the right direction, but I did not get it in time.
Okay.
Which I'm glad. I don't like predicting the ends, and this one I did not predict it. Yeah,
right. If you feel cheated when you,
it's like, I could have written this.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong career. Yeah, no, this was good. I think like maybe the two of you liked it a little bit more than me, but I still really thoroughly liked it. So, and we're going to cover it on Movie Chatter soon too.
Yeah, probably in a couple weeks, right?
I think so. What are we doing this coming week?
We're doing the movie you picked.
Which was Army of Thieves.
Army of Thieves.
And then we're doing Red Notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was good.
I can't wait for Tuesday. Yeah.
Did you not? Uh-oh.
Well, we'll save the gold.
You don't have that in the show notes here, Lou.
No, well, I figured we're talking about it Tuesday.
I mean, yeah, you can. Okay. Nope. I'm down with that tease. Okay. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm good.
Wow. This is going to be a fun episode. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Let's see here. Under the Helmet. This was the behind the scenes thing of Boba Fett.
Talked about that a little bit on Force Chatter
on Friday. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That was definitely well worth watching too as well. We have No Time to Die up here because Tim just saw it.
Yes.
It's now become available to rent. So if you didn't want to go to the theater, I went to the theater. I've been to the theater once, actually twice in this whole pandemic thing. Once to see a Rush concert movie and once to see this.
I'm going to have to go into earmuff mode here for this one because I did not see. I can just take my headphones out.
We're not talking about spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Oh, wow, now I can't hear you guys at all. This is miraculous. This is.
If only his mic worked like that. We could just turn his mic off so we couldn't hear him.
That would be outstanding.
Yeah, good luck.
that would make these shows so much better.
I know, right? I get so much feedback saying that. And I'm like, sorry, technical issues. We can't do it.
Yeah,
people have offered to upgrade our equipment so that they can just like have me permanently muted.
And then we get a fan to subtitle Eric's stuff, like in our discussion.
Oh, so like bad lip reading
while
stuff.
He's just like doing this, So then someone will just subtitle the stuff, or even do voiceover for him.
Lou, do you remember?
Great.
Do you remember when I took audio and I chopped it up to say that someone likes dancing around in pink tutus? Do you remember when I can't remember which host it was?
I don't remember that.
So just remember, I can do that. So you talk about all the subtitle stuff. I can do the bad lip reading thing for reals. So watch it. Just saying. Mm-hmm. Okay. Might not get the video part down, but I can get the audio.
Yeah, there you go. So Tim, what did you think of No Time to Die?
It was great. It was great. It was such a fantastic capstone to the Daniel Craig run of Bond. Bond has I'll say a soft canon. The continuity of Bond really has never been there. I mean, there are some self-referential things, and sometimes you would get a couple of movies that, do connect and relate to each other. But by and large, a lot of them have just been like individual, standalone types of things with a few of the same actors and such.
Right.
The Daniel Craig run is a full story, beginning to end. And this was an amazing end for it. This had some stuff in it that I did not predict. Some great characters in it. I mean, a couple of new characters. One of which I would have absolutely have loved to have seen more of. It was good. It was good. It was a really great story, and it referred with references all the way back to Casino Royale, and right. It really, what you see is the way that they really painted this. Is that the story of Daniel Craig's James Bond is a tragedy, and by tragedy I mean literary tragedy. Shakespearean tragedy, because everything he touches dies, and it's just like it's wild.
It was a good closeout to the run. Before I saw it in the theater, I did make sure I watched all his other movies up to this one, because I wanted to make sure I had all the differences in my head, all the story points, because I knew there was things I missed, in watching them in the theaters and so forth, and I was glad I did because it was a good ending for the run to see everything. Yep. And good story, good writing, good emotions. I mean, it was a roller coaster ride. It really was.
Yeah. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet, it is now available on numerous platforms to rent. I think $20 is the going rate. It's on
rental,
Dish
it should
now.
Be more like $5-ish. Purchase should be $20, right?
No, it was
rental.
Oh, are we still in that period?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it's $17.99 or something like that. Was it $19.99 maybe?
It was.
Yeah, it was up there.
Yeah, on Dish it's 20. On Apple TV Plus it's 20.
Wow, for rental.
Okay. I didn't look any other places, but it's worth it. If you're a Bond fan and like me, you didn't want to go to a theater, watch this. It is freaking fantastic, and absolutely worth it.
Yep, definitely. Okay. Let's see, Eric, you got a couple of new things in your list here for coming up. A couple
of things just came out recently. One had been out, I guess. I get the impression for a week or two, maybe a week now, and I missed it. And that is the reboot of the 4400. I don't know if either of you watched it.
I saw this in your notes, and I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. It's a total
we
reboot?
talked about it before on Random Chatter. I think last year, maybe.
Yeah, but that it was coming, but I didn't know it actually came to fruition.
Yeah, there were like little teaser commercials and stuff maybe 2 or 3 months ago. It's out. They've got 3 episodes out. So I binge watched them this afternoon, and it's good.
So I've never heard of the 4400. I just went to IMDb and read the 1-sentence description of this. Can you, for the sake of folks who aren't familiar with it, Eric,
absolutely,
can you kind of give a little overview?
So since you've got it up, can you tell me when it came out?
2004 to 2007 it ran.
So there were 4 seasons. The first season was only like 6 episodes. And it was the first thing I've ever seen Mahershala Ali in. I think it might have been his first big role. And
they're all up on Netflix, by the way.
Yes. Is it Netflix? Yeah, it's Netflix.
Yes.
4,400 people just showed up on a beach. And it turns out that these were all people who had gone missing. Anywhere from last year to, like, I think one of the earliest ones was maybe 1920s. And they have no idea where they were. They literally just one moment they were in their lives, and the next moment, poof, they're on a beach. So the government doesn't know what to do with them. They're interviewing them, trying to figure out what's going on, and they're like, we don't know what's going on. What do you mean it's like 2004 or whatever year it was? And what happens is they slowly realize that they have different, what we would refer to as superpowers. But they didn't, it's really not like a comic book superhero sort of show. It's very much more science fiction-y. And like one person might be able to, and it was almost like kind of like I don't want to say monster of the week because it wasn't really monsters and stuff, but you're following 2 FBI agents as they're kind of keeping an eye on the different returnees, but then also investigating different things that pop up. And some people just had innocuous things, like there was one woman who could detect pheromones, and so started up a dating agency. And
that's fantastic.
Had great success with it. But then there were other people who had, various different types of, whether it was like a healing factor or whether it was, telepathy or et cetera. But things kind of, after maybe halfway through the second season, things really started to ramp up with an overall story arc. And it's one of my favorite sci-fi franchises of the last, since the turn of the century. It's really good. And I started to rewatch again a while back. I've seen the series probably 3 or 4 times, and I don't do that very often. Lost, Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica, 4400, Falling Skies, and probably Jeremiah, a post-apocalyptic show from the creator of Babylon 5. And I think that's it. And each of those, not only have I rewatched, I've rewatched many times. So this reboot, it's good. I'm looking forward to continuing to watch it. I don't like, right now it kind of feels like the Stanford experiment. There's a lot more focus on this time around. It's the Department of Homeland Security kind of keeping them detained until they can figure out what's going on. And it looks like in the next episode, episode 4, maybe that's going to kind of break loose a little bit. But they've been really, really heavy-handed with social issues in the first episode or two. Now that it's kind of getting into the characters a little bit more, it's more interesting.
Okay.
I like science fiction being able to handle social issues. I like fiction in general addressing social issues. I don't like when it becomes preachy or it feels like it's just that at the expense of the story. And It really felt like it was starting to go in that direction a little bit.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily feel that. But by the third episode, I'm not really feeling that anymore. It's okay. And they're important social issues too, to be clear. They're important issues. Okay. It's just like it kind of steamrolled the plot of the show, I think, in the first episode.
Okay. And where can we watch
this? This is on the CW. I snicker because the CW, but the CW is also getting Babylon 5. Like at some point we have to accept that, it's not just teen angst shows. They have other real things too. They've had the Arrowverse and stuff for a while too, but
sure.
So It was good.
I'll have to put that back on my radar. So yeah, thank you for.
Yeah, I completely missed it. But it's definitely one of those where you and I have talked before. We need to give it a chance to kind of ramp up, find its footing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched The Shrink Next Door on Apple TV Plus with Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing ads for that.
They dropped the first 3 episodes and then they're releasing them weekly. It's or I think they're releasing them weekly. I'll have to double check that. It's good. It's not a comedy. Not a comedy. And it's based on a true story. And the main story milestones that happen throughout the series are actually true. Now they've taken liberties with some of the things along the way, but the really shocking, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that things. Those are the parts of the real story. It's good. Will Ferrell is not annoying.
What?
Which is a big thing for me. I can't watch Will Ferrell
movies. I believe that's genetically impossible for him.
I liked him in Elf. I know both you and Robin hate Elf. I know.
Not a fan.
But I don't like Will Ferrell movies. I don't like Ron Burgundy. I don't like Talladega Nights. I don't like, pick anything. And Step Brothers, just not my type of comedy. His characters, just don't do it for me. But he's good in this. Paul Rudd is good in this. I would recommend it, but watch a trailer first. If the trailer doesn't hook you, you're not going to like the show. If the trailer does hook you, you will probably definitely like the show. Watch the trailer, though.
Sounds fair enough.
Oh, for those who don't know, basically, Will Ferrell is kind of a not very assertive business owner, took over his father's business, has a lot of anxiety, kind of gets steamrolled by people a lot. He gets talked into going to see a psychologist by his sister, played by Agatha from WandaVision, Catherine Hahn. And so he goes to see Paul Rudd, who's very like casual, laid back, let's get out of this stuffy office. Let's go for a walk. But something's not quite right there. And the story is that the psychologist gets a little too close to Will Ferrell's character's life and starts to kind of take over the business and starts to push the sister out of his life and kind of takes over. And so it's kind of that interesting spiral of how did it come to this sort of thing. So,
okay.
So far, so good.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Tim, you and I have both been starting to rewatch, speaking of rewatches, Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
The reimagining of Battlestar Galactica.
The real Battlestar Galactica.
Right. The better one of the two. So Tim, how far in are you?
Several episodes in on season 1.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Thoroughly enjoying it. I am absolutely amazed with the storytelling, the continuity, the different perspectives that they cover, everything that they cover with this. This is not just a Star Wars or even more so, even like Star Trek. And Star Trek, you look at, any of the series of Star Trek, you look at like Next Generation or whatever, and they cover a lot of things, but it's kind of like, the Planet of the Day, Alien of the Day kind of stuff. And I still love the series tremendously, but like, this is not it. This is like this epic saga, and they're dealing with all sorts of aspects, internal and external, and there's mysteries to be solved and all sorts of stuff. And it's fantastic. It's gripping, great politics to it, great character development. There's nothing bad that I have at all to say about this series. I am thoroughly impressed.
Awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it because Eric and I both think this is one of the better sci-fi things out there of recent years.
Yeah, it really is.
And for all the reasons Tim just said. I mean, it has everything. It has politics. It has character development. It has intrigue and mystery and backstabbing. And it's just
stakes.
Fantastic.
I mean, the stakes are. You can't get any higher stakes than this show. Like every episode is intense, even when it's not intense.
Right.
Yeah.
I love a good ribeye.
Yes.
The stakes in this seem maybe even better.
One thing to watch for this, or while you're watching it, I should say, the whiteboard in President Rosalind's office with the number of people. That number changes based on what's happened in the show.
Yes.
And it's accurate. Which I thought was fantastic when you do that. Yeah.
So we do have to warn you, though. We need to revisit this when you get into, is it season 2 or season 3? Season 2, right?
I think season 2's got
midway
some
through
real
season 2. So there's
stinkers.
A point where, we talk about filler episodes from time to time, right? Because this is back when they were still doing 22 episode seasons. There were some episodes that Ron Moore basically admitted were just filler episodes. And you can tell they're pretty rough. Okay. And there's a time period when they're a bit worse than usual. So, but still worth sitting through.
It doesn't detract from the overall series. It's just, you're like, okay, that didn't really move the ball forward at all. But
it picks up again pretty quickly. So I'm going to have to,
and I'm
going to catch up with you guys. You guys will have to let me know specifically what episode you're on and when you're watching it, Tim. And I'll just jump ahead to where you guys are. I've seen the series often enough that, jumping around doesn't hurt.
The next episode I'm watching is Litmus.
Ah, okay.
Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, episode 6.
Okay. Did you go back and listen to the Battlestar Galactica podcast we had on the Random Chatter Network?
I have not, no.
From back in 2000, whenever season 1 was airing.
Was this you two knuckleheads,
no,
or was this someone else?
This is before Lost Chatter, I think, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, this was BL?
Yeah, this is in the time BL, before Lou. Now, we only did through season 1, and then the co-hosts kind of had other things going on, so we didn't continue too far into it. But I think it was interesting. I don't know now, like going back and listening to them, I don't know if it's going to be like the A-Team, like, oh yeah, I used to watch that as a kid. It's an interesting show, and then you catch a rerun, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I sit through that? So I don't know how bad the podcasts are now, but yeah, I'll have to go back and listen. But I think. We got into some good analysis of them because there's a lot of stuff kind of, going on in the background there. So
there was,
the show's got a lot of depth to it. People don't realize.
Yeah. Okay.
Really
we continue. I can't wait to hear your reactions as you get into like the end of season 1 because some good stuff happens right at the end there. Okay. Eric, you got something here from ZZ
I caught
Top. What's this about?
I have a handful of documentaries on on Netflix that I've got set aside, and I needed something that was background noise while I was working on something where I really didn't need to pay too close attention to it. And I'm picky about documentaries. I want documentaries that someone involved in what it's about is talking about it. So, for example, if it's a band, I want the actual band telling me things. A lot of documentaries, they can skew really, really, really hard and get really biased. And so, meh. But yeah, ZZ Top, I'm a casual fan of their stuff. And I thought, I'll throw this on in the background, no big deal. And then about 15 minutes into it, I'm not working on my project anymore. I'm sitting there actually watching the documentary. It's really good. And it's interesting how they got started. And kind of the pre-MTV version versus the post-MTV version. And longest touring band ever. I would have thought the Rolling Stones would have been, but no, apparently they are, if I remember the statistic from the documentary correctly. In fact, they came out with an album again a couple of years ago. And then one of them passed away. I think it was earlier this year. I think it might have been the drummer. Whose last name ironically is Beard, and he has
Beard,
none.
yeah.
Oh, he has one like I do, like, short, but not the big one.
Not the
one to get tangled
right.
up in the guitar strings. So yeah, it was a fun documentary. It's good.
Cool. Let's see. I am still working through Foundation and Invasion.
So I'll have to catch up on those.
Both still very good. Foundation is, I think, the second to last episode right now I just watched was really good. I thought it came to a pretty good head right now, and it should be a good ending to the season. Invasion, we actually saw the aliens in this most recent episode.
Are they cute? Are they as good looking as I am? You hesitated too long,
yeah.
Lou.
I was trying to work in a way to what was the six-legged winged creature in Shang-Chi? The one with no face.
Oh.
Was that Morris?
Morris, yeah, I think Morris.
Yeah. Morris is much cuter than these things were. But anyway,
Still doesn't put me on that scale anywhere.
This last
but okay.
episode, this last episode was all about the one, the mom and the kids.
Okay.
It didn't have any other. They usually jump around a little bit. This was all about them. So it's kind of a shock to see it like that. But still very good character building, very good buildup of stuff. But not much about what's really happening. So. Still interested in see what's going on with that. And that's all I've got for catching up on stuff.
Again, in my need to have something on in the background that I don't have to pay attention to, and the documentary's not allowing me to do the projects I need to work on, I decided to continue with a series of unfortunate events. Very easy to just have on in the background.
Okay.
Lock and Key. I had watched half of the pilot and thought it was good, and I'll come back to it later. And then somebody last week in the chat room, I don't remember whether it was Tom or Frank or Tech or Fatmatic or who it was, said that it was pretty good. It's got, I think, at least 2 seasons, two or three seasons. And they said that I should check it out. So I did. And it's good. It's a little, it's compatible with a younger audience as far as like maybe teenage age. And yet it's also dark. So it's like, it's not gory. There's some, like when there's sex on the show, it's never displayed. It's never graphic. I think it like, teenagers could probably handle it, but it also deals with like a lot of kind of darker things like, death and suicide and stuff like that. But not really heavy. Like it's not a heavy show. And the concept is brilliant. It's based on, I think it's a DC comic book series. And I don't know if it was on the Vertigo imprint or where it was, but it's definitely based on a comic book series. I know Carrie's been talking about it for a long time. It's good. It's good. I'm interested in continuing that as I catch up on, like you were saying, Invasion and Foundation. La Brea got a second season renewal.
Okay.
Don't think I'm going to go back to that until after Invasion and Foundation and many.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with that as well too. It's okay, but nothing.
People keep saying that the acting is kind of meh. The characters are kind of meh.
Yeah, it's nothing special.
I'll tell you, after I watched the first episode and it was fine, but I just simply haven't gone back to it. It's not really made it high on the list given other things that I'm watching.
There's so much better stuff.
Right, that's the thing. If I were desperate,
yeah,
I would definitely watch this. I'm not that desperate yet. There's still other things. Oh, and I finally started watching Dickinson on Apple TV Plus. I think in part because again, Hawkeye's coming soon, and I was getting into a discussion with somebody about what Haley Steinfeld's been in, and Barely Lethal, Edge of 17, Bumblebee, etc. And then somebody said, isn't there a TV show she's in or something? And I thought back, it's Dickinson on Apple TV Plus, which has gotten really good reviews, and everybody said it's great. And I figured, it's like 25-minute episodes. Yeah,
that's
why
not
not
bad.
try it?
Yeah.
And it's good, and she's good in it, and I can't wait to see Hawkeye.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end, I guess, then. So why don't you take us out,
All right,
Eric?
well, that's going to do it for this episode of Random Chatter. We want to know what you guys have been watching. So put it in the comments below or head over to the Discord server. Go to randomchatter.com/Discord, and that'll get you an invite link. And let us know what you've been watching or what you think we should watch. If there's something maybe that you want to hear us talk about and we haven't given it a review yet, we may only find out if you let us know. Like somebody could have told me about the 4400 that it's been out for a couple of weeks now, right? Come on, guys, pick it up. But we want to hear, what you've been watching and what you think is good, because in the same way that we give you recommendations, we listen to your recommendations as well. If you're not watching us on YouTube, go to youtube.com/randomchatter, hit the subscribe and like button. And, actually, if you leave comments below, that actually helps our algorithm on YouTube. So even if you just say, hey guys, it's me, or first or last or whatever, even that actually helps. So, post a comment down there.
Or Eric should be muted through the entire show.
Try to respond as you can. I'll definitely respond to the Eric should be muted during the entire show thing. Yeah, I can do that. I guess that's it. So Tuesday night, movie chatter, about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be covering Army of Thieves, and apparently it's going to be a more dynamic episode than I thought it was going to be. So be sure to check that out. And then the following week, we're going to do Red Notice, and then we'll keep you posted on stuff going on from there. And, in a couple of weeks, we're going to hit December. It's going to be the holiday movie season. I found a list today online. I don't remember the website, but I did mark it. And either on Random Chatter or Movie Chatter, we are going to give you a list of where you can find the streams for all of your favorite classic Christmas movies. I think
like Die Hard.
Sadly, Die Hard is on the list, but also all the Christmas movies. I think last year, Miracle on 34th Street, they had taken off of like every streaming service. Like
really,
nobody could find it anywhere.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, it's back this year, but we've got that. We've got It's a Wonderful Life, Die Hard, Elf. All of those things. We're going to tell you where you can stream each of them on which service. Most of them are free, some of them are not, but we're going to cover that. Just kind of as a little special, hey, here's where you can find your stuff. Yeah.
There you go.
But that's it for this week. Until next week, take care, everybody. We'll see you again soon.